cigarette or in touch with a hookah pipe saying, walk like an Egyptian.
Okay, here we go.
Cleopatra's barge. He is.
No problem.
Cleopatra.
Yeah.
And her fruit.
After breakfast, Nefertiti.
Good morning from the boat. We just had an amazing evening last night. And we basically rented Valley of the Kings, and we went to Hatshepsut, her, not her palace, but where she was worshipped as a goddess or god. And it was awesome. It was her temple. And today we're going to an excavation here, I believe the west bank of Luxor. And then we're on our boat here. We're going to end up taking our boat up the Nile to the next city. Next town. Hope you're enjoying the adventure as much as we are. See ya.
For example, here in the second court, we found 8 tree holes. When we found this, we emptied one of them. We went down, 9.5 meters deep, because they wanted to make a hole in the bedrock to reach the groundwater. And then they fill that with nice soil from the Nile, and they plant trees. During our excavation, we found remains of roofs. This is the dam of the temple, the rubbish of the temple when it was...
in the ancient times.
The ancient time, the time of Thutmose III. And look, the rubbish. The rubbish is pottery, a lot of pottery. So we are finding a lot of nice information, like for example, remains of animal bones.
The false door is for the soul of the king. So this temple is for Thutmose III, who was that guy who infamously tried to replace the queen that he was married to, and all sort of who she was and where she was at her temple at Hatshepsut last night. And now we get to see his temple, which is currently under restoration by a pretty large team.
So the doctors, they are doing a lot of publication about the bodies. And some nice objects from intact burials here in this area. But also we have...
So this was the poor workers that had small little burials. They found 60 different bodies. Some of them were mummified right here. So our guide just teased it out of Myriam. She's been here since 2008, working on this specific site. So this is her blood, sweat, and tears and passion at Thutmose III's temple, being my guide of not falling over. I'm sure it's happened before.
Either wing, this is the same thing. So there was a portico, there are columns, these are the pillars. So these are original, the stone, and all they make, so to imagine what was, where you find the stone, they made the bricks. You can imagine the...
And this is 300 years before Hatshepsut?
No. Right after Hatshepsut.
Right after?
Right after. Okay. Good question.
Actually, they were building the two temples at the same time.
Simultaneously.
Okay.
Because we found ostraca that they asked workers because they were sick, and they sent 10 workers from here to Hatshepsut.
Wow, the same workers.
The same workers.
Same workers as the one from last night at Hatshepsut.
So they built this temple on top of existing tombs. Built the same time as Hatshepsut, which is right up there.
This is to know the plan. انتم مش هتبنوا عواميد هنا بس هنعرف مكاننا. Yeah, to know the location.
وبيعمل إعادة تخيل
A second imagination for how it was like. So this is the plan of the temple.
Like so small rooms with a lot of pottery inside, normally billiards and bread for bread, because it's the normal table for workers. For that we think we are in a place where they storage the payment for the workers until they are working in the temple. But we found three different structures because we removed one structure and we found
Live
another one.
working
We
site.
removed one structure and we found another one. We have three structures like that you can see down. And for us it's so interesting because we found the pottery and something is from the beginning of the Thutmose III. For that it means all this area is while they are building this temple and they need work so much and quickly, and for that they change many times the structure. Yeah. And up we can see another kind of structure, this kind of wall in a wall we say.
Is that the pottery?
Yes.
That's the pottery?
Yes.
It's all of pottery, you can see it.
It's a big
without
puzzle.
problem.
That's a huge puzzle.
Oh, wow.
This is a
It's
base
all
of
for
a
billiard, all. But we found some bones and we found a lot of things, this kind of things. We are documenting
This is
all in my
this is
village.
linen.
Yeah.
This is material.
Yes.
Wow.
And we must to do all
Document
our
everything.
documentation here. Yes. Don't worry. Don't worry,
how
please.
old is it? How old-
cannot touch. You
how
can
old
touch
is
but
it?
can take.
3,000 years.
It's 3,000 years old. Oh, my God. That's my wife for you. So we're going to take a look at the false door, which is the door for the soul of the pharaoh to leave. I still find it fascinating that this facility was being created at the same time as Hatshepsut. Gosh, I screwed up. Hatshepsut, her temple last night. And remember, this is the guy that was super pissed at her. He was married to her, and she basically put him in a pharaoh program for 26 years, 23 years. So he couldn't rule this place till she died, and then he tried to get rid of her name and everything.
I see you.
Where is the bedrock?
Wow. I'm the second.
And then you have the burial chamber. If you look from here, you see the burial chamber.
You can?
Yeah, from here, yes.
You see it? It's a fun job.
This is another tomb. This is a corridor. You have to imagine that was a hole in the bedrock.
Yeah.
And you go a corridor 20 meters and then a
Another
passage.
pit.
This little piece of.
We're getting the only piece of shade, literally. Yeah, the stairs to glory.
Here we found a woman, and she was buried with 3 cats and 1 mummified dog.
Sounds like a
She
party.
brought her pets
Was
with
a
her
woman
family.
with a pet, 3 cats
3 cats.
and 1
dog.
mummified dog.
One mummified.
You have this tomb 300 years before, and you have this tomb late period. This is 1,000 years after. So here you have 1,500 years.
Yeah.
In this sector. This is what makes so rich.
Yeah, in
The
history.
You see, these are the blocks with nice reliefs from the chapel of the temple. And we are now planning to make like open air museum to display them in a nice way.
Yeah, you can.
Because they have very nice colors, very nice reliefs, very nice scene. This area we have all these tombs, many tombs. Maybe we can go back. We are few. We go like.
Please follow her.
This is like the Nazi scene in Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Dr. John.
This is very interesting point because we can see here the upper structure of a tomb, like this one. Here you only see the shaft, but this is only underground. All tombs have an upper structure. In this case, because it's outside the enclosure wall, we have the remains of the court, the enclosure wall of the court of the tomb, the facade of the tomb on top of the old
So that's the
one,
corridor.
and we rebuild with new materials.
Lano.
So we go by here down.
Come on. Assalamu alaikum.
These two,
Yes.
because the temple finished here, the enclosure wall.
This pottery is so old. It's so old. It's from like 13 or 1500 years before Christ.
صوصك بس الحمد لله الريح ماشيه كده. ليش
You're fine. You just discovered some pottery. Jessica just found some pottery there. She's digging. You could be an archaeologist. I think you should take her on your team. So this pottery you just found is 3,000-year-old plus.
Well, and there's pieces right here too.
Yep. Oops. Assalamu alaikum.
Of the temple.
So that's the garbage bin.
The garbage.
Garbage bin?
Yes,
Garbage bin.
this is the garbage bin.
Pottery, and they burn everything. This is a bread mold. Bread mold for baguette. This is broken.
Remember the bread that we saw in the Namek?
So you have like a small baguette. You have different
So they're excavating the garbage site outside the temple.
Breadsticks.
Lots of ash from where it was burned, but they're finding pottery.
Everywhere here.
Yes.
And this is the rubbish.
You can see
That's where you're
the
gonna find the good stuff.
you can see the ash from where it was burned.
Yep.
What's that, Chris?
You can see the ash where it was burned.
Would that be beer or wine, these two jars?
Yes. The two, no, the beer jar, the third one.
Yes.
So we're about to look at the ancient rubbish of this site. Check this out. This is where you threw away, people would throw stuff away. That's where you're gonna find all the good stuff. Check this out. You can see the ash from when it was burned too. I don't know if you can tell on the screen.
That is, no, not her again. Not her again.
Lisa, you want to hold it?
No,
Okay.
I'm good. I know.
In a few minutes, we found a faience bead.
Oh,
You see?
Oh, it's a bead. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
that's not turquoise.
No,
No,
faience.
that's limestone painted, then going into a stove. Like the ceramics.
Yeah, but this.
Going through garbage from 3,000 years ago. Sounds awesome. He found another pot. Look at that. He found a pot. Unreal.
لا قلبها اسهل كده تقع.
No way.
Okay. That's very unusual.
So, 1300 BC.
That is, yeah, before Christ, yes.
1300 years before she.
Yeah, 1,500 BC.
That's even more.
1,500
years before Christ.
So it's
You like that? Not with you, Sharif.
Yes, sir, I understand. I'm
Get
holding
out
the
here.
camera. Turn around so your face will be in the sun.
yes,
And
yes.
that is a much better with the workers working in the background. Well done.
And introduce yourself on the
Yeah,
video.
please say who you are. You're-
I'm Dr. Myriam Seco, and I'm the director of this project since 2008. We are working at the site of the temple of Thutmose III.
So here we are in front of the temple of Luxor, the Olafsons, and the obelisk of Ramesses II, the twin to the one in the La Place de la Concorde in Paris. And here we have the beginning of the avenue of sphinxes that goes from Luxor all the way to Karnak, a total of 3,000 sphinxes, 1,500 on either side, on almost 1.5 miles. The temple was covered by almost 20 feet of sand, gravel, and debris in 1870. Picture. This is the statue, this is the obelisk, and that is a little man. Can you see the man standing there only at the shoulder of Ramesses II, right there. So that tells you how high the sand, gravel, and debris is. That's a 1970 picture, and that's even an 8 years older picture. That is 1862.
Temple of Luxor.
Where the temple was covered in sand, gravel, and debris.
All right, so check this out. We're going to the Luxor Temple right now, and this is pretty killer.
I'm getting you on the Avenue of the Sphincters.
I know.
2 miles all the way to Karnak.
2 miles of sphincters.
They'd carry one of these dealios back and forth between Karnak and Luxor. So these little buggers, different sphinxes depicting different pharaohs, would go almost 2 miles that way to Karnak.
This is how the king or queen would be carried between the Temple of Karnak and the Temple of Luxor. People would carry that. Now I'm pretending to walk from the Karnak Temple to the Luxor Temple, and all these sphinxes around me, there's 3,000 of them. They're lined up as the guardians between the temples. It's me and the sphinxes.
Statues, 2 seated and 4 standing. And if you go with the green dot,
Midday call to prayer.
2 horses. Ramesses finds that the 2 horses to his waist, shooting with the bow and the arrow at his enemies running in confusion under his 4 legs. On the other side, he has a very well organized army. That is the Battle of Kadesh in the 8th year of the reign of Ramesses when he was only 40 years old.
This is the twin of the obelisk from the one in Paris. Ramses II.
Here we have a cartouche of the famous Ramses II.
All praise Allah.
With the two cobras.
I'm with my boy today. Say hi. You're making the video. He's here for a reason. He's got the muscle. In case anyone tries to look at my wife or take away my wife, steal this beautiful woman,
Right.
they get the muscle. He's actually carrying a equivalent of an Uzi, but he doesn't show it off. He doesn't like to brag. You know, I wouldn't either.
Came about 300 years later, where he found a monument erased names by Thutmose III. صباح الفل يا قمر نهارك أبيض. Here we have a mosque of Sidi Abu al-Hajjaj. Let's come into the shade and tell you the story.
My camera religiously. So we are in the courtyard of my favorite guy, Ramses II, also known as Ramses the Great. And I'm gonna go check out some of the statues that have had his face deteriorate. I think it's natural though. I don't think he did anything wrong here. But check this out.
Nefertari. So Nefertari is depicted smaller than him because he is the attraction. You see her in Abu Simbel 3 or 4 days from now, they are shoulder to shoulder. This is a beautiful, enigmatic smile of an immortal young man. Nobody looks that beautiful in nature like him. So hands tied behind
When we
the
say
back.
Africa, we're talking
Africa was like Kenya, Tanzania.
Yeah.
Now, can you see the sign?
So these are the South African enemies that they conquered. The Kenyans and Tanzanians.
The plateau of Anatolia, Mesopotamia.
Okay.
And these are all the names of the provinces, like we read yesterday.
He maybe didn't conquer them.
Some
but he's
of them he
pretending
did not
he
have a foothold in
He's a
it.
politician.
He's a politician.
Ramses II. Ramses the Great.
How integrated politics and religion, how they are separated, I said zero. There is no separation. Politics and religion are mixing and mingling under the table since day one. So that's the guy with the pointed chin, the high cheekbones, and big pot belly, hanging breast.
So our guy gave us a good angle.
Amenhotep III, who built this part. He succeeded by Akhenaten, who did not believe in that god, so he erased the name of the god from his father's name.
We got some Greek here.
So Carlo did not have a ladder to etch his name up there. That's how high the sand and gravel. Being the oldest part, 1400 before Christ. Now you see one.
So you see the Corinthian columns.
Wearing togas.
4 men wearing togas.
Faces with halos around.
So the reason why the color is still vivid there is because at the lower level, the Nile flooded and there's water in this temple. No.
The water with the construction of the high dam and formation of Lake Nasser have risen the water table in the north. We are about 350 kilometers away from the lake. Now, by capillarity, the lower part of the wall absorbs the water. And in a hot summer day, the water will evaporate, depositing the crystals of salt. The salt will expand, popping up the colors. So the carvings are still there, we only lost the colors. So he is walking in the chapel built by Alexander the Great to the goddess Mut of the New Kingdom, the wife of the god Amun. So the shrine we have inside, is actually 100 years older. D is the R and the S. So that is the name of Alexander the Great.
This is my boy Alexander the Great.
Yes. Actually,
He's-
remember the story I told you yesterday?
That's Alexander the Great's.
No, that's the god Amun's penis
Oh,
being purified by Alexander, and he's receiving his semen for fertility. So we don't know exactly what happened with.
I'm super stoked. I'm next to my guy Alexander the Great here, right behind me.
On here too, so they would know.
Oh no, here. No, that is. Yes, that is a graffiti.
Yeah, graffiti of Alexander. So I'm going to walk through the Alexander the Great's temple that he made for himself here. It's super awesome. Now I got you. So Sharif just told us that this site was used not just by the Egyptians, but then the Greeks. And they found a Roman toga over there, so the Romans used this too. So Alexander was here, and then the Romans were here afterwards. Chris is like Johnny Manziel. Put that next to your ear. That's not 25,000. That's 2,500 USD. That's not a lot of money from the bank. That's crazy.